This is going to be 7 exercises. We'll do 3 sets. Each set, each exercise will be 50 seconds on, 10 seconds off. We'll do a real quick demo. And again, the objective of this exercise is injury prevention, working to open up our backs and to use some of the small muscles in our back, in particular with this first exercise, that tend to get tight in rowing. So the first one is open books. If you haven't done these before, going to be down on the ground, knees at about 45 degrees. Got my hands out together, and I'm going to open up, keeping my knees on the ground. I'm trying to get my shoulder all the way over. The knees are on the ground to my left, but my shoulder opens all the way up to touch the ground on the right, or as close as you can to that. Those are open books. And we'll do, we'll switch halfway in those. So we'll do the first 25 seconds will be going to the right, and we'll just switch our knees and go to the left. Second exercise, 1 leg shallow squats. A lot of you guys have done these. These are not intended to be super hard power building squats. These are literally, I'm going down like 20 degrees, stand on 1 leg. What we're working here are the stabilizing muscles around the knees, and particularly the small head of the quadriceps, the one that doesn't get used as much in rowing. The big parts of the quadriceps are what tends to pull kneecaps out of track, especially for rowers, runners, cyclists, people who do a lot of linear sports like that. They end up with knee pain. It's one of the reasons is your knee's not stable because the quads aren't developed evenly. So 1-legged squats are addressing that. And literally, it's just this. My balance is not great. You're going to see that's one of the things. This is going to work as well. Real shallow with these squats. Okay, next is going to be 1-leg deadlifts. We're going to do here. So I'm going to start with my left leg, starting with this leg straight. And I'm going to hinge over and try to keep the balance. Back leg is up. And then I'm going to try to kind of power straight up. So this front leg is staying almost straight. I get a slight bend in it. And then power up. It's glute and upper hamstring that are going on this one. And again, it's a balance exercise, so you might not be great at these. That's okay. Let's see. Next one. 1-leg abductor lifts. So we'll be on the ground again, similar position to our open books. What we're going to do, again, I got the knees at about 45, but the upper leg, I've still got it out at 45 degrees to my body, but my foot is pointed down to the ground as much as possible. And I'm just doing a lift. It's just this. Not trying to lift super high. I'm isolating, using the little muscles here. The wraparound part of the side of the glute. It's another muscle group that's neglected in rowers. And if you've ever started doing like squats and deadlifts and stuff that you haven't done in a while, and you find that you can't walk, you get a bunch of pain over there, it's because those muscles are not developed, and they tend to get crushed when you start doing harder leg exercises. So we'll do those. We'll again switch halfway through. We'll do press-ups with neck extension. This is kind of going up into a cobra position. So from the ground, I'm just going to come up. I mean, I'm getting a little bit of a push-up here, but that's not the point. The point is extending the back, and we'll even get the chin up a little bit on these. My shoulder blades are also squeezing together a little bit. This is mostly, really it's a stretch, and it's using your back muscles to open the back up a little bit, to go, instead of curving this way, to go that way. Your spine will allow you a little bit to open up that way. That's what we're working here.
Steve, on that one, are your legs on the ground, like, or are you?
Like, yes, legs are entirely on the ground on that one, and so so ideally your hips are too. So you're only going up. I mean, you're going till your arms are extended, but depending on what your flexibility is, your hips might lift up a little bit off the ground. But the goal is legs are flat on the ground and hips are to the ground too. Good question. Last one is an abdominal exercise, and it's one of my favorites, and it's one that works a bunch of different ab parts of the core, and those are alphabets. You guys know these. Laying down on the ground, legs out straight, making big letters. A, B, C, etc. Big letters, bottom of the letter. Your feet are close to the ground, legs out straight, and trying to keep your lower back close to the ground on those as well. So that's the set. We'll do it 3 times through. Just gonna get my watch ready, make sure I'm framed okay, and we'll go for it. Let's go. All right, we're gonna start out with open books. And again, I'm gonna switch about halfway through, and all that's gonna involve is rotating my knees over to the other side. Nothing complicated there. All right, 50 seconds on, 10 seconds off. I'll call them. Ready, and let's go. Even these relatively low intensity exercises, want to breathe along with what you're doing. So I usually exhale as I'm opening up on these. And again, as I'm closing the book. And switch sides, just rolling your knees over. Trying to keep those knees on the ground as you open up your back and trying to get your shoulder all the way down to the ground on the other side when you open up, or as close as you can. And down. Next one. One leg shallow squats. So we'll come up for that. Switch halfway. Ready, and go. I started on my left. Doesn't really matter which side you start on. And see my other leg just hanging there. I'll occasionally touch the ground for balance, but I'm trying to do these entirely balancing on one leg at a time. I'm trying to keep my knee tracking straight. Your knee's going to tend to wobble around a little bit. Switch legs, especially if you've got a little knee instability. My right knee is a little more stable than the left. So on these, I have an easier time, my knee not wobbling side to side. Good. A few more seconds. And stop. Okay, next one leg deadlifts. We'll do a full minute on each side of these. Part of the reason is this exercise takes a while just to complete a rep, especially if you're not used to doing it. Okay, let's go. So again, we're pivoting down. I'll keep my hands forward for balance, and then try to power up. Down slow, back leg up, and power up. Down slow, balancing on that one leg, power up. Down slow, knee just slightly bent, and up. Should feel this a little bit in your quads, your upper hamstring by the time you've done a little set of 50 seconds, keeping that balance as much as you can on that one leg. Good, and we'll switch sides. Again, we'll do a full 50 seconds on your other side, and go. As always, you're welcome to go straight into the next exercise if you don't need the 10 seconds off. It's really just there to give you time to transition and to just let you catch your breath a little bit, especially when we're doing more intensive circuits. My lower back is staying straight with this one. Most things we do, we're going to keep that standard. See, a lot of this stuff mimics the rowing stroke in terms of your body position. With this one, it's like we're not getting the full slide because we're not bending the knees. but we are getting the body over. One more. Good. All right. We're back down on the ground. Kind of like our open book position. It's going to be our one leg abductor lifts. Knee leg is out at 45 degrees. Again, don't feel like you got to lift super high on this. You're not trying to use a bunch of different muscles. Make sure that leg stays out in front of you at 45 degrees so that you're using those abductors. Okay, switch sides, just rolling over, working the other leg. Again, you want to keep your toe pointed as much to the ground as you can. Doesn't take very many of these to get fatigued. 2, 1, and down. Next one, we're going to go to our press ups. Ready, go. Legs are staying flat. And my hips are staying pretty close to the ground. And I'm going to pause a little bit for that neck extension part. Feeling the extension, feeling the stretch, feeling my back. Kind of open up in the opposite direction to what we do all day, sitting in front of computer screens, where we get curved forward. So 2 more, 1 more. And down, we'll stay on the ground, but roll over for alphabets. Last exercise of the set, alphabets. Ready and go. Make these letters as big as you can, engaging multiple areas in your core, obliques on the sides. And again, trying to keep your lower back down to the floor as much as possible. Let it arch up. I use my hands on the ground next to my butt to keep good stability. You don't need that, great. But I do. 2, 1, and down. Good. Take 1 minute rest in between sets, and then we'll go on set number 2. Good, about 15 seconds here. Back on the ground for open books. In 5 seconds. Ready and go. If you're like me and you're tight and tired from yesterday, hopefully by the time we got to this second and then third set of these, your back is maybe opening up just a little bit. Get slightly more range of motion. And switch sides. For anybody who's really been paying attention and making sure to do the key workouts on our plan. Again, right now, that's the Wednesday and the Sunday. you know that the Wednesdays are pretty tough. And down. Next one leg, shallow squats. So we're up for that. Ready and go. The point of having 2 key workouts, not that the other ones aren't important, but those are the ones that I would recommend, especially if you're building back into shape, if you're thinking about long-term goals, like maybe racing in late summer or fall if it happens, or who knows when. Those are the workouts. We'll switch sides. They're going to make the biggest difference in the long run. So if you can, if you miss one of those days, I highly recommend do it on Saturday or do it another day. Make those your key. Focus on those. And down. Okay, we'll stay up for 1 leg deadlifts. 1 leg deadlifts. Ready and go. And we're pivoting forward, finding the balance. Standing up, nice and strong. And again, trying to kick that back leg out and up as much as you can. Just a little bend in the front leg, the one that's on the ground. It's an exercise. If you get a little better at it, you can add some weights, some light dumbbells. And rest. Good. We'll get the other leg. Ready and go. Anything that's got the word deadlift in it, you know that one of the main muscle groups that's going to be working is the glute. Incredibly important muscle in rowing, as you guys know. It's really the middle part of our stroke is primarily glutes. Talk about the second part. We often, as coaches, call it body, opening the back, except it's not mostly back muscles that are being worked. It's the glutes that are opening the body. Using our back more so in the last part of the stroke to bring that handle in. One more. And down. Okay, and we'll go down to the ground for 1 leg abductors. Again, knees at 45. Let's go. For me, it only takes about 8 or 10 reps to start really feeling a little burn on this one. And we'll switch sides. And again, if it feels too easy, make sure that you've truly got that leg that's up in the air out at 45 degrees, not in line with your upper body, 45 degrees in front of you. The toe is pointed down. One more. And down. Good. And we'll stay down on the ground for our press ups. Ready, and let's go. Extending the back, extending the neck. Twenty more seconds here. 2, 1, and down. And last set of the exercise, and last exercise of the set, alphabets. Ready, and go. So I started over at the beginning of the alphabet because, you know, I kind of get lost after about G, but feel free to start wherever you left off. Move on to numbers, Cyrillic, alphabet, whatever works for you. 5 more seconds. And down. Good. And again, we got a 1-minute rest. Good. I'll make just 2 more points about the kind of key workouts of the week. Again, I already talked about the importance of the Wednesday. Just really there starting to build some endurance back. And I know probably for most of you, I know it's the case for me, I can't do what I did 6 months ago on those workouts. It's okay. It's about good form, putting yourself at the effort level that you want to be at, the prescribed effort level, and doing it again and doing it again. And sometimes the workout doesn't go great, and that's okay. But getting in that zone and doing that kind of workout at least once a week right now is huge. Got about 20 seconds. Okay. All right, we're gonna get ready for open books in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Good. So our second key workout of the week is effort-wise an easier one, lower intensity. That's the Sunday workout. And all we want you to try and do there is build up a little bit of your base, your tolerance for doing longer efforts. And you can break it up a bunch of different ways. You can work in circuits, run for part of it. Sorry, we'll switch sides. Run for part of it, erg for part of it, bike for part of it. We're just trying to string together 75, 80, 90 minutes of work once a week. We're going to try to work that base up over the next few weeks. And down. Good. Next one leg shallow squats. Ready, and go. If you're on your timer, you know I went slightly over time in that last exercise. That's okay. Got a couple bonus books. And switch.
Hey, Steve, I went ahead and upgraded us, so we're good on time.
Okay. Thank you, Aaron. Got about 10 more seconds here. Again, I'm not trying to go crazy fast or go super deep. It's about balance. If anything's quick, it's the standing up part. And down. One leg deadlifts. One leg deadlifts are next. I'm starting with my left, and let's go. For me, this is one that requires the most concentration. My balance is not spectacular, but it gets better. I do these with some regularity. This is the kind of thing that carries over to the boat as well. muscles we develop here are part of what lets you sit in good posture up on the front of the seat, up on your sits bones, sits, S-I-T-Z, sits bones. And rest. We'll switch to the other side. Ready, and go. And being up on those sits bones, that's one of those things that if you mostly row in 4s, especially if you row just in 8s, some people have a hard time figuring out what that feels like truly sitting up on those bones on the front of the seat with the hips cocked forward. If you ever rode a single or a pair, you're going to know if you're doing it wrong. Because if you're not sitting that way, you don't have a strong connection to the boat through your seat, and your balance is going to be terrible. So we want all of us to row the same kind of posture and position, same seat position in any type of boat, because it makes every boat you're in better. 2, 1, and one leg abductors. So we'll go down to the ground. Ready, and go. Good. Again, got those legs out straight. Foot's pointed to the ground. 2, 1, and switch. But something as what sounds simple as sitting properly on the seat, that's hard to feel the difference in an 8, very easy to feel the difference in small boats. One of the main reasons why people who have sculled or rowed pairs much have a very easy time meshing well in an 8. And down. Okay, next one are press-ups, press-ups. Ready, and go. That's one of those things. Once you get used to sitting that way, truly sitting up on those sits bones, hips cocked forward, lower back nice and straight. Once you get used to that, you're going to row that way all the time. It is not a comfortable position to get used to. It's part of the reason that a lot of folks coming out of learn to row don't quite master it until they've rowed a while and been in some smaller boats. Even in 4s, it's one of the main reasons our 4s are sometimes real stable and sometimes not so much. And down. Good. Last one, alphabets. Ready, and go. Good. Last exercise of the day. Again, not the hardest circuit today, but yesterday was difficult. Tomorrow is difficult too. If you're going to do either a benchmark, whether it's 5K on the erg or running or some other cardio equipment, I'd recommend doing a 10K benchmark if you're on the bike. People can usually bike about twice as fast as they run, somewhere in that ballpark. That's going to be a tough one. Today's a little more restorative. I know I felt better doing the 2x20 as I did earlier today. Felt better after than I did before. 2, 1, and down. All right. Good. Hope you guys had a good workout there. Again, we have similar circuits to this one with a slightly different mix of exercises also in that tab on the spreadsheet. You'll just see in the comments, they'll say something like balance and injury prevention. You think any of those are good to do. Highly recommend doing this type of circuit about once a week, more if you've got the time, but it'll be showing up in our plan, and whether you can do it today or another day, again, highly recommend continuing to use this one in your plan.